Founded in 1976, OrthoRemedy is a full-service prosthetic and orthotic lab specializing in amputee rehabilitation and orthopedic bracing. Here, we evaluate patients, manufacture prosthetics, and perform one-visit adjustments under one roof. OrthoRemedy also maintains its reputation through innovation and continuing education. Our staff is genuinely caring, qualified, and dedicated to our patients, helping them achieve maximum rehabilitation potential.
Well, I didn't think I'd ever be able to walk again, or do anything again. Then I went to OrthoRemedy, the leader in state-of-the-art prosthetic limbs and braces. They helped me learn how to walk all over again, helped me pull myself together, literally put me back on my feet. They worked with my doctor and my insurance company, so I didn't have to. You know, I may not be able to win the 50-yard dash, but I can sure get across the finish line.
OrthoRemedy, the Center for Prosthetic Excellence. Call 1-800-662-7993.
From the hip down, I have a prosthetic limb all the way down from my left-hand side. I was born like that. It was more congenital, like a birth defect, they call it nowadays, but that's how I was actually born that way. And from there on in, my whole life, I'm 35 years old, and that's what I was accustomed to. To me, it's like having a prosthetic is like having second nature, you know? It's like, I don't even know myself all these years that it's there sometimes until something goes wrong with the prosthetic, but with the new prosthetic, the technology today from the OrthoRemedy, it doesn't even second guess me. I don't have no problems whatsoever.
I lost my right foot when I was 10 due to a congenital birth defect, so I've always been in either a brace, and I've been wearing prosthesis since I was 10, 34 years.
Actually, I had a podiatrist who made a mistake, used bad sterile method, gave me an infection. Fought it for, I was in the hospital for 9 weeks. You just say, this isn't worth it, and they're not going to be able to save it anyway. So you figure you might as well save as much of your leg as possible and start to try to live a normal life again. So I talked to my wife about it and my kids, and that's the decision that we made. And really, in the long run, it was the best decision. It was a hard decision, but it was the best decision I made.
I was born with a birth defect, so for the first 9 or 10 years of my life, I had multiple surgeries to kind of try to correct that, and it just didn't work. So when I was 10, they did the amputation. And since then, you know, I've been wearing a prosthesis.
I was born admittedly with a birth defect. I was born with a muscle, tissue, and bone deficiency. I was born with 2 legs, and for approximately, I'd say about 8 years or so, we went through enormous tests and operations and bone grafts to try to save my leg. My parents finally decided, now is the time. We have a son. He's in 2nd grade. He can't walk without assistance, and we want him to live a normal life as possible. So just the time was right to, amputate. And sometimes people will say, Don, what's the worst day of your life? And I'll say, February 22nd, 1979. And they'll say, well, what's the best day of your life? Same day.
While in the hospital, I picked up some sort of a staph infection, and they thought I had reactions to the medicine they gave me, but they thought they had killed it because all of the tests came back negative. However, it had gotten into my heel, and when they discovered it 18 months later, it had eaten the whole heel. So the surgeon who did it said I had a choice. No leg or no life. So I went to New York and had the surgery done, and surgery was done in February, and by May I was walking again. Then I was fine for 3 years, and I got 2 cracked vertebrae with an infection in the spine. And by the time I finished that 2 months later, I couldn't walk anymore. Couldn't, do anything. And right before I had gotten sick, I came to Tom to get a new prosthesis. So he was designing it and all, and then I got sick, and I ended up at the same rehab center where he works. So we went there, and he continued designing the new one, but because of the lack of walking and all for almost 5 months, they had to use my old one, and then I got walking and all, and then Tom eventually designed this prosthesis, which is designed at an angle, which holds my knee in from going crazy and helps me walk more. And he also, while I was in rehab, yelled at me that if I didn't start walking, I might as well just go home and sit on a chair that lifts me up. So I figured that wasn't going to work.
The EndoFlex is really our our brainchild. That was a product that we developed, now probably 20 years ago, at a time when dynamics was not even an issue in prosthetic devices. At that time, prosthetic devices were basically static limb replacements. Any function in dynamics was very minimally addressed. And to be honest with you, it was an accident how it was developed. We were doing a lot of prosthetic work at a rehab center in the area, and the componentry that was being used at the time to set up a prosthesis was very expensive components. And I would have to send them out for a new patient for prolonged periods of time while they adjusted to the prosthesis. So it was a very high component cost of things laying out there. So I was trying to think of a way that we could make something that's low cost, that we could finish later and just leave it in there rather than have to take it out and replace it with duplications and all this. So we decided to make a plastic tube welded to a plastic socket, so they have pretty much a structurally complete prosthesis, and when it gets finished, we'll do a foam, rigid foam build up over it for the shape, and then a rigid lamination over it. And this was going along fine until one day I had an experienced amputee come in, and he was walking in this new prosthesis, and as he's walking, we're trying to decide whether he's comfortable and this and that, and the first comment he made was, I think I could run on this. And we didn't even understand what he was talking about. So he started to run for the first time in years on that prosthesis. So we tried to decide what it was about that EndoFlex. I wasn't even a name yet. What it is about this system that allowed him to run. So we're looking from the side, watching him run side by side, and we could watch that tube section, that pylon section, actually flexing and extending with his gait, with his high-speed gait. So now we're looking at it and saying, okay, there's the answer. It's allowing motion and actually helping to propel him into the next step. So you got kind of like a simulated muscle around a joint. And we spent another 5 years experimenting with it and perfecting it in this laboratory before we even presented it to the industry. And then at that point, when we had a few hundred patients using this thing successfully and we figured out all the kinks, at that point we presented it to the industry. And till today, it's a very extremely lightweight, dynamic, adjustably dynamic system that's very efficient to make in a facility and extremely comfortable for the patient.
The EndoFlex it'll bend, but it won't break. So you'll know it's wearing down. You can come in here, and you can kind of go on living your life normally, and have this come in and do what it has to be done for it to get it fixed, or just keep you going. Secondly, from this type of technology, I just feel more energy coming out of the leg from when I'm stepping off, as I did with the other ones. It's more of a fluid energy. The other ones would be like you come off and it would spring you out. This is kind of like a constant pushing you up, as if you had that level of muscle in the back there that you'd be pushing off of, from the toe to the calf to the back of the, to your hamstring. The other legs, kind of all the energy stored at the bottom, and you just kind of bounce right out of it. So it's a different way of kind of knowing your gait. You feel it. Okay, it's hard to explain, but if you're kind of just walking along and you can kind of jump off your toe as opposed to just kind of walking off your toe, it's probably the easiest way to say it.
I think that the timing, the flexibility, the accuracy, the speed, that's the key here, is the speed to me as an amputee. The new technology here is like far and beyond any other company.
From day one, from the moment I was on the phone to my first appointment here, I felt very comfortable. I felt it's like a family type atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody cares about everybody. It's like your neighbors. This is something that I have to have every day in my life if I want to be productive. If I don't want to be productive, I can stay at home or I could live in a wheelchair. But that's not an option for me, never has been. I've been working since the day I turned 16. So when you're happy with some place, you continue with that place.
One of the things that made me think I could get better was I saw a couple of orthopedic patients who had, prosthetic patients, who had been with Tom before. I talked to a doctor who had worked with OrthoRemedy, and then a representative from OrthoRemedy came into the hospital to talk to me, and they talked to me on the phone too. And they gave me a lot of reading material. I felt really comfortable after that this was an okay decision to make and that I'd be all right once I got out. The only people that I have ever found who can make you feel like you were before you lost your leg. Maybe for some people that they didn't feel too good because maybe their legs were leg were bothering them a long time. It's OrthoRemedy. I said, you're going to be the person that you always wanted to be through them. And I have been, thanks to them. You know, not just the support of my family too, but if it hadn't been for ortho, I wouldn't be where I am today.
You come in and it's not the clinical environment that if you're coming in as a first-time person you would think a place like this would be. It's much more relaxed, it's much more in tune to the patient. It's not, you know, the whole process of, you know, analyzing the whole deal. They look at the patient, but it's very relaxed. It's a great group of people. I've known everybody's been here since I've been here, which is going on, you know, over 16, 17 years now. And relaxed, but yet informative, professional, and, you know, no matter what they need to do to get the job done, they'll fit you with the leg that you need.
If I have a problem, I can come right away, which is a very good relationship, not knowing that I have to go and wait and make an appointment. You don't say, no, we can't do it, we can't do it. No, they'll fit you in somewhere. You know, if they have to stay a little later at night, they'll fit you in. So you don't feel like you're just out there in left field and have to wait a day or 2 days and, you know, be incapacitated to do anything because now you're stuck. I mean, if I don't have my legs, I'm obviously in a wheelchair. Wherever the problem is, get it resolved. If you're not satisfied, they'll do it again and do it again until they get it right. You're satisfied, and as long as you're happy with it, then that's great. I mean, he doesn't see you in 2 years, he knows everything's working fine.
One of the things that's wonderful, it's not, again, a prosthetic is not something simply you buy in a store and say, hey, I'll take one of those. It's a very, very long process. You do have to have patience with it, but what Tom has done is every step of the way, he has educated me as far as what's going on, this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it, and he's constantly asking for feedback, which is wonderful because he can contour the prosthetic to my specific needs. So he certainly does listen to the patient, which is very, very critical. I like the family atmosphere that they have here. You know, Tom and Maureen have been very, very good to me. Corey helping me fit me with a prosthetic. Also, the insurance matters. One of the most frustrating things, and this is not just with prosthetics, I think with anything, is dealing with the insurance companies. And so Rosie here as well. If I have an issue with my insurance company, you know, paying a bill, again, I inform them of it. I inform them what's going on, and immediately they're on the phone with, you know, my Blue Cross Blue Shield or my insurance company helping me deal with it. So whenever I need them, I know that they're there for me.
Right off the bat, I felt very comfortable. I felt at home. It was not the atmosphere that I had been used to in the veterans. And it was a sense of they were really taking an interest. Not that the veterans had not, but they're so overwhelmed with so many amputees and so many things happening in the veterans situation. Where when I came in here, I just felt comfortable. They sat and talked before we even reviewed my problem, gave them a little history about where I was from and what I had did. And what was established was almost like a personal relationship right off the bat. I feel very comfortable with them. I can call them at any time and say, you know, there's something wrong, and they'll say, come on over, we'll work it out for you.
I love every one of them because they just take care of me. If I call and I don't get Tom and I get Maureen or I get Rosie or whoever I get, I can tell them what I need and whatever. And so they will even come to pick me up or whatever, to take me home if it's raining or whatever. They are OrthoRemedy, they are very loving, caring, cheering people, you know, helpful.
Any way they can help you, they will help you anyway and make you comfortable, you know.
Tom is passionate about what he does. He's very good at what he does, and well, she's proof of it, you know, because the surgeon told me that after she had the trouble with her back that she may stand, but that she would probably never walk again. And I told the surgeon, yes, she's gonna walk. And well, my girl's walking.
And Tom said I'd walk.
Yeah. So, you know, that's enough for me.
It's a great company to work for, again, because it's a small company, and we really try to take care of the patient, you know, and we really try to make sure that they're comfortable and that they leave here happy, and they do.
To me, the best thing about this operation is how fortunate I've been with the people we're surrounded with, because it's a group of us now. I mean, it's not me anymore, it's all of us. There's no way I can accomplish what needs to be done in this company alone, no way. And then you have to depend on all your coworkers to do it in a way that you want to say it's ours. You know, you don't want to, you want every one of us represents the company. So me as the owner, I'm hoping for the employees and the staff to look at it with the same outlook and the same kind of responsibility and determination. And you know what? Somehow they do. The best part of it all is that we're really a family here more than a team. We have lunch together every day. There may be days where somebody's not right because something happened, you know, or, you know, we even get into personal issues that go on within our own families because that's what we all do with each other. And that's really a big part of this whole thing, because to know that every person who's here, I can't even say employed, every person that's here working together is working for the same goal, because all of us think the same way about it. It's our little way of kind of contributing to humanity.
But that's how it comes into the whole procedure. Once you see that client walk out that front door, you're like, wow, you actually made a difference in somebody's life.
We do all the checking for them. We do all the checking, we do all the billing. We ask all the questions of their insurance companies. They really don't have to do any of that. When they come in, you know, it's for an evaluation. And there's no cost for the evaluation. And at that point in time, we try to look into their insurance company. So by the time they leave, we can let them know, you know, what their coverage is and what their responsibility is at the end of that.
Their whole department that deals with insurance, and Maureen specifically, they researched my insurance, and they said, no, you're covered by us. We can take care of everything here. And they said, you know, even if you weren't covered by insurance, we find a way to work with you. So, you know, that was a great relief. They research everything before you walk in the door, so you know what your situation is.
It's one of the most frustrating things, and this is not just with prosthetics, I think with anything, is dealing with the insurance companies. And so Rosie here as well, if I have an issue with my insurance company, you know, paying a bill, again, I inform them of it. I inform them what's going on, and immediately they're on the phone with, you know, my Blue Cross Blue Shield or my insurance company helping me deal with it. So whenever I need them, I know that they're there for me.
I do not get involved in it. That is, I do not see the costs, the charges. Everything is directly sent to the VA. They in turn work with Ortho in terms of payment and everything. So I'm fortunate in one way in that I don't have to be concerned as far as the cost. My primary concern is to make sure I have a good prosthesis.
OrthoRemedy helped me to get this prosthesis.
Why do you do all these innovative things? Well, there's reasons for it. For example, we put images on almost every device that we deliver to patients. While we're studying that patient and their personality, we're getting a sense of what they would like. I'll never forget, I had a lady in the city. She lost both limbs below the knee at the same time, which is very uncommon. And she was an elderly woman, and we had to deliver a pair of prosthetic devices to her with which she was going to go home with. And we put flowers all over them. And when she saw them, we didn't tell her, and when she saw them for the first time, she said, "Oh, que linda, wait till my grandchildren see this." We decided to do this for children because, of course, you're always looking to give kids a positive image. And a very good friend of mine from right here in New Jersey developed this concept of positive image, where you can have cartoon characters on your braces and stuff like that. And that's where it all started. And we found that the kids would return after that checkout 2 weeks after the initial delivery, and they would come back telling us about their friends who want these braces now, and they don't even need them. I have one guy who's my age and my weight, but a really interesting person. His biggest problem in life was he'd go to a lounge with his buddies and he can't meet the girls because they would look at him and say, "Oh, I'm not interested in this guy." Well, now they all come, they want to talk to him. He wears a pair of shorts, they all want to talk about it. And he has the fun because now he starts making up all kinds of stories about how he lost it. So it becomes a chick magnet for some people as well.
If you like, I could have had my kid's picture melded into my limb if you want, kind of like a tattoo, but it's a real life of your child. I could have picked a color or a fabric.
You can have pinstripes on it, you can have flags on them, you can have the Mona Lisa. In fact, I was even thinking maybe getting the Yankee pinstripes on it, but I decided against that in case I go to Mets Shea Stadium sometime.
The idea of comedy is to take the stress away from the situation. Let's face it, I know these people coming in are not happy campers. And the sooner I could get away from that issue and get back to what the real world is, including comedy, the sooner they recover and they start to feel like, you know what, I have hope. The old-fashioned way of providing health care is still much better than all the technology we have today, because something about this clinical atmosphere we have today takes away the humanitarian aspect of why people become doctors and healthcare professionals. We're not healthcare professionals. By theory, we're supposed to be just humanitarians who are looking to help people in a process. That's all. When we built this office, of course, we're trying to lay it out as best as possible to serve the needs of this business, you know. So we built this elevated deck, and we started using it for our patient evaluations and castings. And the best part about it, which was something I didn't even realize, was a patient who came in one time who was a new amputee, had not walked on a prosthesis yet. We took her out of her wheelchair, helped her up the step to be on the platform, sat her down, and I started to discuss with her what's necessary and what we're gonna do and what she needs and all those details. And she looked down at me and said, you know what? It's such a pleasure. For the first time, I'm looking down at one of my professionals. So you say to yourself, look at this. I didn't even realize it, but look at the uplifting effect of my treatment to her now. Now, instead of looking up from her chair at everybody who she hopes is taking care of her, now she's looking down at one of us. And it's a very humbling experience.
We enjoy helping people, and you know, it's these days, it's, you know, your life doesn't end because you've lost a limb or you need a brace, and you can go on with your life, and we show them that. So it is rewarding to see that life doesn't just have to stop. They can still play ball, they can still go out, they can still dance, they can do anything that they used to do. And that's what we try to instill in them. It's not, you know, it's not over. You can still go on and do the things you like to do, and you'll, you know, it's not the end. It really isn't the end.
You know, even when I was a young kid, you know, I used to, when my mom said when I got my first prosthetic around 5 or 6 years old, I never really wanted to wear it, or then they used to take it away from me and say, look outside, look, all your friends playing ball. You can sit by the window and look at them. And what are you gonna do? As time went on, I'm like, nah, I want to go outside and have fun, play in the snow as a normal kid would do. Yeah, you know, you got to make the best of the situation. I mean, you know, people always say, oh yeah, you have a prosthetic, this and that, but my whole life, the thing that stays out of my dictionary is can't.
Not only, you know, does, you know, Tom have to, you know, build a prosthetic for me and listen to me, but I have to have, I have to be educated too. I have to be aware of myself, and I have to not be lazy about it. I certainly have to be very proactive in the way that I wear it, and proactive in the way that I educate myself, as well as Tom educating me.
People don't believe that it's not my real feet, you know, because I try not to, sorry for myself and to, you know, can't move. I try to move anyhow. And now it's 1,000,000% better now.
I can go in and take a shower. I can stand in the shower. I don't have a freaking shower chair anymore that they make you have when you're in the rehab hospital, and they say that you'll need forever. I don't need that. I just take a shower like everybody else, climb out, dry myself off. I never thought that that would happen. I always thought I'd have that lousy plastic shower chair that I'd have to lug in and out every day until the day I died. No, I don't. As I said, I'm 99.5% the same person I was. You know, it's not me that's the inspiration. I said it's the leg that's the inspiration, because I said it gives you the ability to be inspiring is what it does. Because people don't think that that disabled people, and I don't even want to call myself disabled, handicapped people who've lost a limb can be what they were before. They always think they're going to be slow you know, not a part of society, always being in need of someone to help them. Well, it's not true at all. This makes you complete. OrthoRemedy makes people whole again, and that's the thing that's inspirational. It's not the individual, it's the leg that makes you be that way.
Being an amputee has made me, and I can say this very humbly, a much better person. It's made me humble. I'm a better person because I'm an amputee. Simple things such as this simple act of walking, I don't take those things for granted. I hold that very close to my heart.
I thank OrthoRemedy for helping me to walk again, and you know, to have, because I have a lot of hope, you know. I have a lot of hope. No, you know, my neighbor across the street, they said, "We didn't know you didn't have any feet of your own." I said, "Yes, I lost my feet." They said, "No. I got to take up my skirt to show them."
I would want people to know that it's not as bad as initially you think it is.
I can literally do 99.5% of what I did before.
Just be patient. You know, it's a learning process like anything else.
Basically, you can do whatever you did before. If you're a runner, you can run again. If you're a dancer, you can dance again. You can climb mountains. They have different legs for running, swimming.
Have faith, have a heck of a lot of patience. That does take time, but I would try to use myself as an example. The things that you could do before, you'll have to make adjustments, but you'll still be able to do them even after the amputation. But again, have patience, have drive, and have a purpose in what you're doing.
It's very difficult in the beginning, yes, but there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. Take each day as it comes and try to work out each little problem as it comes, rather than trying to accomplish 100 things at once. And eventually those things will come to you.
You know, it takes a little time to get in there, but I keep the faith, so I would just tell him to keep the faith and don't worry. One day, you'll be able to walk like me.
Life doesn't stop, it goes on.